Welcome back to Dead Pine Archives. My name is Dan, and I'm here today with my two co-hosts, Neil and Kelly.
Hello.
Hola.
And today we are going over the Holly Hotel. It is a ghost story day. So for this story, I have a little bit of some history on the hotel, and then we'll get into the ghosts. All right. Have either of you ever been to the Holly Hotel?
I have not.
Is it in Holly, Michigan?
It is.
Funny would it be if it wasn't?
Yeah. So the Holly Hotel. In 1891, John Hirst built the Hearst Hotel for the influx of travelers passing through Holly on railroads. It really was pushing a lot of people into town. So obviously this hotel I'm talking about started off as the Hearst Hotel. The hotel was built as a 3-story red brick Queen Anne style building with one side facing Martha Street and the other side facing the railroad tracks on Broad Street. John Hirst boasted about his hot water heat and elegant appointed rooms, well-staffed and very cosmopolitan dining room, which happened to also be the largest and finest dining room in the surrounding area.
Why does he sound like Trump? I have the biggest, the best dining rooms and the hottest of hot waters.
That didn't sound anything like Trump. What kind of fact?
No, I kind of went JFK.
What you guys, I was going to say, what you guys at home didn't know, because this is not a visual medium, is Neil was standing in a certain way when he said all of these.
The posture was on point.
The way that he stands where
The kid asking you if you have games on your phone.
Oh my gosh. Because it was a very nice hotel, it did become the social center of the community and neighboring communities. This was the place to be.
I feel like words like calling something metropolitan is...
It was cosmopolitan.
Cosmopolitan.
That's even more...
I don't know. This is what he said
Well, yeah, it's of a time. It's not really something that people say anymore.
It's not.
It's very of the time of a transatlantic accent.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Cosmopolitan Hotel.
Can you only talk like that, please?
Maybe.
Well, you actually
Just a lot of I don't know what word to say next.
Okay, so outside of the Holly Hotel, or at the time the Hearst Hotel, is Martha Street, or it was Martha Street. That is where all the town's saloons, brothels, and gambling halls were. And on Martha Street, it got a name change by the locals because there were so many daily brawls, battles, and shootouts that the people in town started calling it Battle Alley because people would literally get beat up all the time.
My kind of town.
So if you look up the Holly Hotel, it is now on Broad Street and Battle Alley, which is kind of sick.
Battles and Broads, what the hell?
I built the nicest hotel. Just don't use the west entrance. You'll get beat up.
Yeah.
I assume this is where everyone went for their parties. I mean, come on, how many places have we gone that it's nice, but then you walk outside and you're like, to the car?
Fight.
Okay. Kiss. Okay, very, very quick side note. If you are ever at a place where a fight is breaking out, right? All you have to do, my sister did this one time in front of us, and this was the funniest thing, is you get everyone around you to start chanting kiss, and they don't know what to do in the fight. They just kind of stop because they're like, well, if we keep getting closer, are we going to kiss? It's very funny. So far, 1 out of 1 times it's worked. So
100% success rate.
100% success.
It worked out great. It's one of my favorite memories, honestly.
It was so funny. Anyways, so moving on from that. In 1912, a man named Joseph P. Allen bought the building. Then just a year later, in 1913, the hotel suffered a disastrous fire, which destroyed the second and third floor completely. The new owner had the damaged hotel fixed up, but made it a little bit more modest in style. Apparently, he also made the porch and the second floor very, plain in comparison to what it used to be. It hurts my feelings, but it's fine, whatever. And then he reopened the hotel with a new name as the Allendorf Hotel in late 1913. Later on, it did get bought again by someone else. I didn't write down their name. I guess they weren't important enough. But then it went by the Norton Hotel for a bit. And then it got changed to the Holly Hotel. There are 2 big fires that happened in this hotel that destroyed most of it. And actually, technically, there's been 3. So the one was in 1913, and the second one was in 1978, and they were exactly 65 years to the date, to the hour apart.
Why are
Same day, same time, 65 years later.
Oh,
That's
wild.
a weird
And like
coincidence, and also
major damage.
I feel like, why are hotel fires, maybe it's just like back in the day, but like I feel like hotel fires were such a thing.
Yeah, it's a lot of people under one roof, I guess, you know, and like there's a bunch of partiers and everything. And then it did catch fire again in June of 2022. So that one was also a decently bad fire, but it was not 65 years to the day to the time. But yeah, like a lot of things
Throws
are
off
like,
our
it's like,
perfect
you know,
track record.
I know, it's like, what's the point of catching on fire if it's not even on the right time?
Yeah.
But yeah, then there were some very interesting people that actually came here. Now, I don't know if you all remember this person. I only remembered it after a very specific thing was said. But Carrie Nation came to town in August 29th of 1808, and her pro-temperance supporters decided that clubbing the patrons of the hotel was like a great idea with their umbrellas. They also started smashing whiskey bottles with her trademark axe when she saw a painting of a flimsily clad woman above the bar. And once I read the axe part, I remembered who she was.
What was that name again?
Carrie Nation?
That is
Is that not how you say your last name?
No, probably.
Oh, okay. I
I'm
was
just
like,
saying like that sounds
Carrry.
that is
You
the
would-
most modern drag name I've ever heard in my life.
No, she would kill it on YouTube. She's like, "What up, Carrie Nation? It's Carrie Nation.
Oh my god, that would be. But
we don't like alcohol."
She was like at the forefront of the temperance. Is that pro-temperance? You know, like thing where it was like anti-alcohol and like all that.
It was a word that I gotta tell you I've heard before, but I was just like,
No, that's
I don't
okay. I
recall.
only remember her because she would have her trademark axe with her when she'd go and tell people to stop drinking. It's bad.
Lizzie Borden looking ass.
Dude, and she would just like destroy a place with people. She did get arrested in Holly, and she did go to the local jail.
Good.
It did make the governor
No,
at the
she
time.
sucked, dude.
Yeah.
She was an awful.
don't
Yeah, she was not great.
I thought she was a drag queen up until 4 seconds ago.
No, she was the Bible thumper, like
Yeah, she was
in
appalled.
charge of like going through being like, it's not Christian to drink, it's not Christian to do this.
No,
Yeah,
yeah.
the whole prohibition movement was like a very Christian fundamentalist
Yes.
movement led by these women.
Yeah, so she was,
Interesting.
she was special in her own way. But she was appalled when she talked to the hotel people and was like, hey, let's not drink anymore. It's bad. And they're like, you don't understand. We have like the biggest bar in town, and like this is what people come here to do. And she was like, I'm gonna break her bottles about it. And then so she got arrested.
Somebody should have tossed her into Battle Axe Alley.
It's Battle Alley, but she did have her axe, so that would be kind of cool. They could have changed the name to Battle Axe,
Battle
which
Axe
would have been
Alley.
cooler.
Temperance is another word like cosmopolitan and whatnot that is very of that time. Nobody
Yeah.
uses that word anymore.
Yeah,
Was that like a name at one point?
Yeah,
temperance.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Where are my
yeah, I mean,
daughters? Temperance and Dorcas.
Dorcas.
Yeah, no, that sounds about right. But because she was there, she even got the governor, Governor Warner, a political reason to visit Holly, and it was like a whole deal. To this day, the Holly Hotel does celebrate her visit every year with special menus, reenactments, and discounted prices on alcoholic beverages, which I think is hilarious.
I love that actually, because
Yeah.
that doesn't seem so much as celebrating her as like, hey, she
a-
came here. Yeah.
Yeah,
and here's the middle finger.
Here's the finger. Yeah. No, when I started reading it, it was like, oh, and they celebrate her visit. And I was like, oh, I mean, like, you do you, I guess. And
Honestly,
then they were
that's
like,
a party I'd
you know,
go to.
Yeah, give me my discount drinks there. But yeah, I just thought it was interesting that she was there.
No,
You're fine.
Not to derail, but I just had to. I tried to look up what the modern equivalent of a name like Temperance would be, and Google was like, I don't know what the fuck you're asking me, which is fair. But what do you want? It was like no one. That's never been a name, and I was like, all right, I guess I'll go fuck
I
myself.
feel like it's been temperance.
No, it is.
Oh, okay.
absolutely a name. But Google was like, you sound drunk. Which, speaking of, I had to. I was looking it up, and it was like, oh, there's no one like movement that's centered around temperance anymore, blah blah blah. And then it came up with the search result for the word teetotalism, Teetotaems.
Teetotalism?
Yeah. And I was like, what in God's name is that? And it is the practice of voluntarily abstaining from the consumption of alcohol. It's just a very stupid word. And it says that a person who practices and advocates for teetotalism is called a teetotaler. And I'm just like,
Teetotaler?
that's,
I want that on a sticker.
don't
I'm just teetotaling my way through life.
Don't ever call me
I
that.
just teetotaled myself.
Don't ever call me that.
I won't. It's an insult sounding.
Sorry,
No, that's fine. And honestly,
I refuse to identify as a teetotaler.
You know what? Any straight edge kid I meet from now on, I'm gonna
such
be
a
like
teetotaler.
You're a teetotaler. And then they're gonna punch me in my face because straight edge people are very mean sometimes.
sometimes.
Yeah, I am.
Oh yeah. Who do you think you are?
Who do you think you are? I am. That's why I'm saying, don't call me a fucking teetotaler.
Her visit really has nothing to do with the ghost. I just thought it was a fun little
fun fact, yeah.
because I was like, oh, I know her from history. So the first fire was in 1913 and the second was in 1978, which again was 65 years to the date, to the hour. Ridiculous. It had a lot of damage, but also this by the second fire, the 78 one, they ended up actually using old drawings from the 1891 like blueprints of the hotel. So when it got rebuilt in, the 1980s,
They made it kind of fancy again?
they made it back to as much as they could, and it is now registered as a historic place.
Aw.
Yeah, which was cool. It took them, I think, 2 years.
Okay.
You said it burned down in 78. The second time?
78, and then they had it up by 80.
It was 5 years later that Burning Down the House came out as a single.
Oh my god. Not 65 years, are you sure?
Not 65, but
Dang it. Well, then we got fives. Okay.
Beats the shit out of what I was going to do. I was going to make such a localized Michigan reference, and it was not okay.
Tell us.
Because she kept talking about how this place... This place kept burning down, and it had interesting people show up. I was like, oh, what is this, a Gilbert's?
Oh my gosh.
Did you know that Marshall Mathers used to work at
Eminem.
Jesus.
I literally, because I watched the Stan documentary, right? And I sent everyone I knew the screenshot
did.
of the guy in front of Gilbert's. And he's like, because the guy was like French or something. He's like, this restaurant was very important to Marshall. And I was like, yes, it was. He worked there.
He was a whole busboy about it. Jesus.
For those of you not from Michigan who don't understand, there's a city we all grew up in called St. Clair Shores, and there is a restaurant in that city called...
That also doesn't match the city at all. It's like something you'd go to as like a tourist attraction in like the wilderness.
Right, it's like very up north themed,
Yeah.
right? But
It's a log cabin.
it is. The building is a log cabin, so it's an interesting choice for this suburban Detroit area.
Yeah, it's like 20 minutes out of Detroit, and you're like, oh, gotta get in that log cabin.
But for years, the claim to fame of St. Clair Shores was, did you know Eminem used to work at Gilbert's?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't think anyone from here can mention Gilbert's without mentioning
It's all
that
we
fact.
have.
It's
all
one
we have.
of, but you know what? It's one of our favorite running jokes. Like to just do it in an ironic way. Just be like, anytime we hear about a fire or we mention Gilbert's or the name Gilbert comes up, God bless.
Because Gilbert's has
like-
caught on fire several times.
Somebody will run in from the next room and be like, did you know that Eminem used to work there? Dude, it's so funny. And yeah, one of the other claims to fame is that Gilbert's can't seem to stop burning down.
It happens
hasn't-
a lot.
It hasn't for like, I think 10 years or so, but then it was closed for a couple of years because if you're going to build a place that looks like it's only made of wood, it might catch fire.
It made money.
Anyway.
And yeah, so that is like the brief history of this building. It just is really weird that it was like exactly same day, exactly same time that it caught, you know. Most of the hauntings are attributed to the unexplained fires. Again, both of these fires I don't know about the third one that happened recently, if that one was so unexplained, but they didn't really have a reason of why they thought the place went up in in flames. They did know that, I don't remember if it was the first one or the second one, but something caught fire in the elevator shaft or by the elevator shaft, and because of that, the wind pulled it straight up, and that's why the second and third floor got so majorly like cooked.
Damn.
But they didn't really say like why they thought it caught fire. Could have been, wires or something.
Listen, I don't know who investigated those fires, but if they had had professional seer Rick Wade on the case, they would have known what started those fires.
I don't know if he can tell, see through time and space. I think he just talked to ghosts, right?
Listen, we don't know. What can't he do?
That's true.
The equipment wasn't working that day. We don't know.
Wade. The ghosts are telling me insurance fraud.
Yeah. We don't know the full scope of his powers.
Again, I don't remember if this was the first or the second fire, but one of them did say that it did I think it was the first, where it did a lot of fucking damage, but they were not getting nearly as much from insurance. So they definitely did not do well off of it.
Back then it was like, here's a silver dollar, buy some lumber. I don't know.
Yeah, and they had to rebuild the whole thing. So that's basically what happened. And then again, they did have one a few years ago, which is unfortunate. But I think they built it all back up and everything. So I don't know. Then we get to kind of the ghosts. Now, this is the one thing I had an issue with. I was trying to find proof of these ghosts existing. The first ghost is actually the first owner, John Hirst himself.
Oh.
There were a few that made it sound like he died in the first fire, though technically he wasn't the owner by the time that fire happened. And also there is no obituary that says that he died in that fire. I looked and I read through so many newspapers, and none of them actually said anyone died in any of the fires. But then some of them, if you read the stories of it, are oh, he was one of the many lost in the fires. But there's no list of people who died. There is a whole article or a whole newspaper that goes on and on and on about how much money people lost. The people that were living there, they're they lost their clothes, they lost their jewelry, they lost their expensive stuff that equaled to $5,000. They did not mention one person who's died. So I don't know if he did die during the fires, or if he died before the fires, or if he just died at some point.
Died in battle.
I was going to say,
maybe.
There was no mention of the year that he died.
No, I couldn't even find his obituary at all. I couldn't find it online.
He's still alive today.
But he is said to be the first ghost of the hotel that you are likely to see. Because you can go to the Holly Hotel website, because you can't get a room there anymore. They don't do any overnight stuff, but they are a restaurant, so they still do fine dining or whatever. But
Not a ghost. I was squatter.
They have
You
their
got this whole building and it's just a restaurant?
I think it's because not that many people stay in Holly anymore, and it probably needs so much
Are you
upkeep.
kidding me? That place would kill during Renfell.
Well, yeah, I don't know. But there's
Think of the
This was
cons.
gonna
what
be
about Mount Holly? Isn't that a ski hill?
Yeah, so I was gonna go over it at the end because it's kind of about it, but kind of not. Currently, right now, they are looking to sell the Holly Hotel. The people who have it now, they've been in operations for 46 years. They're just having they're just there's some litigation with the owner of the adjoining vacant lot, and they're doing something with a trial. It's on the front page of their website. So I don't know, but if you want it, it's for sale.
Listeners, leave us a comment on this episode. Let us know if you throw $20 to a Patreon. We will open the Dead Pine Hotel in Holly, Michigan.
Okay, that sounds sick.
My God. Don't be afraid to mention if you want to be staff at the hotel. We can't pay you. But
unless if you donate $20 more.
Yeah, $20 more. And I don't know, if you want to stay in a room, that's cool. I can't pay. I can pay you in blocks.
I could pay you in blocks. Yeah, so the hotel itself did get a bunch of professional Ghostbuster people in there. They do even say that the world famous Ghostbuster came in 1989. I don't. Norman Gothier.
Dan Aykroyd?
Norman Gothier. And he declared the abode loaded with spirits.
Apologies, I don't know this man.
I don't either. It's on their website because I just went on there to look at the one thing to
the world famous Ghostbuster, and it's not someone that was in the movie.
No, I don't think it was anyone from the movies. I think it was an actual ghost person.
Buster.
They put it in parentheses.
Interesting. I just think that using the term Ghostbuster outside of like the movie. No. I know. I just think it's very funny without the context of the movies, because then it's like the world famous Ghostbuster. I'm like, who? This guy Jake over here? I didn't mean to say Jake.
This guy Jake.
This guy Jake.
So on their website, they do have a whole page for their ghosts and like their ghost stuff, like what you can do on a visit.
So they've embraced it.
Yeah, they know. They're like, well, there's a lot of things that's like, oh, it's the most haunted place in Michigan, maybe even America. And I was like, that's what every haunted place says. But they're pretty haunted, and they've gotten a lot of like evidence, which is kind of cool. But they did say that Mr. Hirst passed away in the 20s, 1920s, but he's still like
roams the halls.
Thinks that he's the lord of the house. Like he's still like in the hotel, even though he didn't. I don't even know if he died there.
Listen, if you died in this place, don't think you're gonna make me do the dishes. Like you're not the lord of anything.
Yeah, and I just wanted to see what they said, because like I'm sure they did a little bit. They could find the records a little bit easier or something. But a lot of them are like, oh, he was lost to the fire, and I was like, that's not how that works, because he wouldn't have been there because he didn't own it anymore. I mean, I guess he could have still been. Anyways.
What, Neil, did you find something about the world famous Ghostbuster?
Yeah, this world famous Norman Gauthier. I'm on like page 3 of the Google results. And the only mention of his name is quoting the article that Dan just read.
Ooh.
Over and over again, this world famous Ghostbuster, 2 words. To clear up any confusion, every mention of him is talking specifically about him saying the Holly Hotel is chock full of ghosts. But it's saying, yeah, every one of them. A professor of parapsychology visited the hotel in 1989. That line is every mention of his name that I have found on the internet.
And it's so interesting because apparently he also received laurels for best big boy ghost hunter, and it was given to him by a mysterious Mr. G.
Oh my gosh. Best parapsychologist 1989.
To ever step foot in the Holly Hotel. Yes.
Crazy. I can't believe it's not even remotely self-bestowed.
Anyways, so John Hirst is supposed to be one of the ghosts that you can experience the most. You can, like, people have seen him, but that is more rare. When they do see him, he is supposed to be dressed in a top hat and a frock coat, which is a trench coat, I think.
So, pants,
I'm John
no
Hirst.
pants?
I watched the Matrix ones.
Jeans and a t-shirt. But no, he's just wearing very boring stuff. But, top hat for the times.
Does he have a monocle?
They did not say, so I'm going to go with no.
I'm going to go with yes.
You know what? You can. There's nothing that says he doesn't. Typically, he is heard and not seen, with his faint baritone laughter echoing throughout the building. Or
Santa Claus?
Santa believe. Okay. I'm surrounded.
There's a lot of ghosts in this house.
His laughter echoing throughout the building, or soft voice speaking, but not directly to the living listeners. So I think I'm sorry, Neil, do you have something to say?
No, that was the ghost.
Oh, it's really crazy that you and Kelly get possessed all the time.
I've never said that.
3-finger Riley?
He was visiting. I was still here in this chair.
It was weird that it came out of your mouth.
He wanted to buy gloves. You're being insensitive.
I am. But the most notable manifestation of Mr. Hirst is that throughout the building, you may get a whiff of a cigar smell. It varies from barely noticeable to overpowering. He's usually seen in the lower levels of the hotel. That was where his home was. That's where he lived. So that makes sense. And you can also experience seeing him at the top of the stairs and in the Carrie Nation banquet room. That's right. They named a room after her after she left.
Just get it together, Holly Hotel. Do we like her or do we not like her?
I assume that's the one where the most alcohol is.
Holly Hotel is also a great drag name.
Yeah, very true.
Does it say at all when people report seeing his ghost, does it like freak them out, or are they just like, business as usual?
So the hotel is known for being very haunted. So most people who go in
So
there,
people are doing like ghost
go.
tourism kind of.
Yeah, I think that's a lot of it. And it does seem that they very much leaned into it. They do still do like fine dining, and they do keep like the restaurant area as like it looks like it's closer to like that vintage, proper
of the
era thing. They say that people see it all the time in like photos, and they have experiences a bunch. It does freak people out. There's a lot of staff that are constantly seeing things. There's like this one woman, I watched a very short interview, and she was like a waitress there, and she said that her kid would see people, and he'd be like, oh, and then like some other kid also saw people and was like, oh, can I go play with that random dude? And she was like, no to both ways. Like, absolutely not.
Mom, this random man offered me a cigar at the top of the stairs.
Whether he's alive or dead, you can't go.
There was this one like article that said that there was that only kids see this man with a cigar, but it sounds like that's not it, because Mr. Hirst is the one who's supposed to be the man with the cigar, and people see him. So I don't know where that came from. I don't know if they were just being weird.
John Hirst, right?
I was being an idiot. I completely mixed up this dead man with the bells from Polar Express. I'm stupid. Only children can experience. I goofed. They're so easy to mix up.
No, the cigars are the bells of the Holly Hotel.
And Santa was there.
Why do we keep talking about Santa a lot? And I know I brought him up multiple times in the last episode, but I'm just saying.
So I love the little factoid that you said, that like the ghost of John Hirst. It's like his soft voice can be heard talking, but not directly to anyone. So he's just walking around the hotel like, I like cigars. Cigars are good.
No, he's just literally wandering around like a man that forgot why he went into a room, and people are terrified because they're like, oh, a ghost. And she's like, I think my toothbrush is down the hall.
So a lot of
my coffee in the other room.
a lot of the ghosts.
Make up the bed, Mildred. I'm coming.
A lot of the ghosts in the hotel, Holly Hotel, seem to be more on that repeating what they were doing when they were alive thing.
Sure.
They are very much in those like habits, this is what I do and everything kind of like that. It seems that that's how most of these ghosts interact. They do sometimes interact differently, but it does seem that most of them kind of keep to a script. So it would have been more of him talking to, someone back in the day, and we're just hearing like, echoes of it kind of,
It'll hit you again if you don't make dinner faster.
Mr. Hirst, while he does go around the property and have his joyous laughter, it is said that he doesn't really like a lot of noise, and he hates it when there's renovations on the property. I think they said that the first time that they saw him was when they did the second renovations, and he just doesn't like that. So, he's good until you're making too much noise, and then he gets mad. I don't know.
He just pops out of the coat closet, just, shut the hell up!
What are you doing to my... No running in the lobbies. You knew who
Mr. Mosby.
Yeah, thank you.
Got you.
And then we have our next ghost, who is also very active. This one, again, I could not find her death. I could not find anything about her. So a little angry about it, because I was like, shouldn't there be something on her? If she's like, if you are like basing your like business on like being spooky and having ghosts in it, and you have a full name, why can we not find who she is?
I was gonna say, so what facts about her do you have?
I know that her name is Nora Kane. Okay. She has a portrait displayed in the restaurant's main lobby.
Okay.
They said that she was a hostess of it. She's described as beautiful, petite, and graceful. But typically when you see her, she's not complete, where like she stops appearing around her like knees down. So she's like ghostly that way. Her beautiful dresses she wears, which sounds like she wears different dresses.
Okay.
Which is interesting for a ghost. Nora likes to make her appearances mostly in photographs. She also really likes to be in weddings that are held at the hotel, which I think is very cute. Historically, Miss Kane enjoyed music, and that also seemed to have followed her into the afterlife. She's often heard playing piano or singing soft melodies throughout the building. even in places that there aren't pianos. Now, there was also another ghost that was mentioned to play piano, and I don't know if they were just mixing up ghosts or if there's multiple piano playing ghosts in this place. I don't know.
So much talent in the afterlife.
And I know. She usually does hang out around the bar, and she was a hostess, so I don't know if she was like, she has.
Imagine haunting the place where you worked.
Yeah, I think she was.
The way that I will
it
bother
sounds
a
like
pizza
she's there
shop.
enjoying her time, though. It doesn't sound like she's working.
Yeah.
But she's also known for asking those around the piano to play a tune for her, or just like softly speaking out of reach. Again, like a lot of murmurs.
Yeah, the piano.
You just hear
That's
this.
gonna blow her mind.
I was gonna say you have this ghost lady come up and like whisper in your ear as you're playing the piano. Play some fatty wop.
The most common haunting is also very similar to the most common way that Mr. Hirst would haunt, and that is by smell. People say that you know she's around when you get a sweet flowery scent that is like a perfume. It can happen in any room of the house, but it's usually more common in the main bar area.
Okay.
And again, it can be very faint to kind of overpowering, which I think is very interesting because I feel like your eyes can trick you and your mind can play games on you, but it is very hard to trick a smell.
It is, but that's also like one of the tougher ones to be able to prove too.
That is true. I think like for myself, like deciding that something really happened would be a smell.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, because like your mind doesn't really make up smells, or at least mine doesn't. And I think that's very interesting. You're in an old building and you just get a waft of something. And now, I mean, I'm sure this place was doused in, freaking cigar smoke. So I could see it coming through the walls here and there for whatever reason. But perfume's a little bit different. I don't feel like that would last.
No.
But then again, I guess they were also rebuilt a few times, so it shouldn't have any smell. I don't know. But those are the two
Somebody's just walking
main
through
things.
with a sick vape cloud.
This
in
one's
this
called
place.
Dead Grandma.
Oh my gosh.
no.
Anywho, there are other ghosts that are seen, not nearly as much, or as, everyone's favorites are those two. But apparently Mr. Hirst had a dog named Leona. And she was a terrier. Did not actually tell me what gender the dog was, but Leona sounds like I don't know. Don't matter. Anyways, you can hear her phantom barking in the early mornings. Or
Arf,
I guess the chefs hear the dog barking the most in the morning when they're doing breakfast. And then others will hear her running through the halls. She does love to interact with visitors by rubbing up on their legs, which would freak me out. But yeah, that's all there is about her, really. There was one account that they made sure to put in there. Now, this has only happened once, and it has not happened again. And it has the weirdest thing, because I'm like, why? One woman in 1996, Miss Coltenios, reported, the only time this has been reported, that there was a mysterious Native American standing in the dining room, clear as day. He just didn't have any feet. He hovered for a few moments and then disappeared. But it wasn't like, oh, I caught a glimpse. It was, I saw him. He was in full time typical Native American, wear. And he was there. I saw him. And then he just kind of faded away, which I think is so weird because it doesn't match anything that we've read so far. And it was just once. And they made a point of saying, because I think this was on their website, but there's a point of saying, being this has happened once and not since. He was there for a second just to be like, here's a story, madame, and then left. I don't know.
He was just passing through town.
No, literally,
Maybe.
I love the idea of being a ghost and be like, I'm going to fuck with this lady real quick. And then just leave.
Well, and it was a place that was for a train station stop. A lot of people came into town off the train, stayed the night, and then left. So it could have been a lot. I don't know in the, well, I guess it's the
I mean, if they
1800s.
have a ghost that's been known to change her outfits, which I feel like
That
is not
is
typical
true.
of ghosts, I feel like they have folks that just kind of visit.
Yeah.
And that
It could
makes
be
sense
whatever.
for a hotel, right? Because it wasn't a permanent residence for a lot
Also,
of people.
we all know that before was that, there was most likely, there were Indians there before us, because that's the one big thing in America is you're always on an Indian burial ground.
Right, but also especially in Michigan, where every other city is named after indigenous words.
Yeah.
Yeah. That
Indigenous
or French.
or French.
Yeah,
that's
all
it.
we got. Can't pronounce nothing here.
No, I mean, for...
Well, we can
Okay.
do it better than some other people. If people
That's
from
true.
out of town come here, they're like, Dick Winder?
I knew exactly what you were talking about. You're talking
Charlevox?
But that's the whole thing, too, is like we have our own Michigander pronunciations of French and indigenous words.
Oh, yeah, they're like
that
completely
that
incorrect.
are not right. Detroit being one of them.
Detroit.
We have the most dumbed down version of Quebecois and like just French in general. So like,
Listen, I blame the school's districts. I don't know.
Dick Winder.
Dick Winder.
I hardly know her.
Great it.
Great idea.
That's
There's
why my
so
GPS
many.
That's why when you change your GPS to any like dialect that's not just like standard robot, it's like, I'm gonna roll the dice and you better hope you know what I'm saying.
Even if it is an American accent, it's never correct.
They're just like,
Shenanigans.
turn left.
I'm absolutely dating myself right now, but like back when movie phone was a thing and I would buy movie tickets over the phone, it was like, here are the listings for Star Gratiot.
Yeah, literally. Oh, God.
So beyond the mysterious Native American man and the dog, there were two more ghosts that do seem to be kind of seen. Now, it does range from one ghost to two ghosts. It's supposed to be either one little girl or two. They do have like a idea of who they may be, but again, there's no proof. There's no record of either of them, and it makes me mad. But so they are depicted as being between the ages of 9 and 13, which I will say, when I look at a child, I don't know their age, so I would be like, yeah, okay, 9 through 13, I could probably guess that.
Sure, it's not a toddler. It doesn't pay taxes. So.
Yeah, it's got to be in there somewhere.
in between.
They have a bad attitude.
And this little girl or girls are depicted with having red hair. And they do seem to like to play around the hotel a lot, and they're pretty happy. They occupy the kitchen a lot.
Okay.
So the one story kind of makes sense. The other one, I don't know what she's doing. But yeah, so most often they play with the meat cleaver in the kitchen.
Children will.
But other times they do play with like teapots and hanging utensils. Yeah, they talk about how like a lot of the staff will say like, oh, like bottles of whiskey or, plates will just fall off the shelves randomly, and scaring the crap out of them. There was something that was like, oh, the meat cleaver, like it's been like tossed before, which rude. Don't do that to me when I'm working.
Don't like act surprised by this.
He said the axe and it was a meat cleaver. I thought it was on purpose.
No, I was going to say, don't act surprised by this. It's not like we all haven't played catch with a meat cleaver as children between the ages of 9 and 13.
Weirdly enough.
That's just growing up in the 90s, baby.
So
Tamagotchis, meat cleaver toss.
When your older siblings would put you in a pillowcase and fucking throw you against the wall.
Listen, did we play catch knives? Maybe. Anyways, so
when they would lock you in a sleeping bag and whip you against a tree.
oh my God.
Remember when your siblings would beat you to death in the 90s?
Neil, I need everyone to know that Neil is the older sibling. So I'm just envisioning Leo beating the crud out of you.
You remember when you would just
me in a sleeping bag and just whipping me up against a tree?
So they would play with the teapots and the hanging utensils. They are also believed to be the source of running noises in the stairways. Maybe they're playing with the dog. Who knows? And you can hear their soft giggles in most of the common areas of the hotel. Some think
because you said the dog would hang out around the kitchen too, because the chefs would like hear it barking.
The chefs would hear him barking.
Maybe the dog and the girls hang
play.
out.
Honestly, I hope so. Just keep the meat cleaver away from the dog.
The dog's throwing the meat cleaver.
Oh my God. It was the dog all along. We're busting this case wide open. Some think that there's only one girl. Some think there's two. Neither have a confirmed name. The one is thought to be a young girl who did die on the property after getting severely injured in a stable that was adjacent to the hotel. She did get kicked by a horse, and I think it was in the head. Neil, this is a child.
I did, because I thought that was a bummer, and Neil was like,
It's
yeah,
not
he thought
funny.
it was very funny.
It's not funny.
I knew. Okay, originally.
Classic horseshoe Jenny. At it again.
Originally, I left out that she got kicked in the head by a horse because I knew that this was going to be the outcome. But then I thought, oh no, we're adults. I can say how this poor girl died And Neil proved me wrong.
The old classic when you go to the stable and you fuck around too close to the horse and
They're dying.
Grown up in the 90s.
classic behavior. Getting fully just bodied by a horse.
So that's how they think the one girl had died. The other is thought to be Nora Kane's daughter because in the portrait that is displayed in the restaurant main lobby, she is wearing black, like a black mourning gown. So they think that she lost her daughter at some point. Again, I couldn't even find Nora at all, let alone any trace that she had a daughter. So, yeah, I don't know.
Well, that does make me more curious, though, about the potential of, like, going there and be like, show me the portrait!
Yeah,
show me the lady!
I want to see it. And the young child, girl, ghost, whatever, is the only one that seems to have actually appeared during a seance in the early 1990s. The evidence that is seen or smelled is usually, like, repeated, like, same place, same, all that.
Yeah.
The hotel only does dinner reservations. And they do, like, Halloween seances and some, like, ghost stuff like that, which is kind of cool.
They have to.
I mean,
the way
yeah.
that they've leaned into it, and since they're not a hotel anymore, like, you gotta do something.
Yeah, and like I said about the articles, because I have one here, and I'm not going to read through it all, but instead of saying, oh, this person was hurt, this person was this, it's literally this, like, Mrs. Hattie Burns lost practically all of her wardrobe, which included some very expensive dresses and fur pieces. They had several $1,000s worth of diamonds and other jewelry, which went through the fire, but most of that has been recovered. Mr. Dabb's goods were not covered by insurance. He had a policy on them, but he had only just recently moved to the hotel and did not have it transferred. Like, that's most of what they talk about through the entire thing.
Do you understand how much I, just as an average person back then, reading that would have been like, I don't give a shit.
Like, did someone die? Please tell me. There was only one.
These rich people lost 5 items.
They did have a few, like, sayings of, like, who survived. So most of the people, as far as I know, it seems like all of them really got out. They did all get a lot of losses financially because there were people who were living at the hotel or at least staying there for long term. 1 or 2 people had the entire place, like, furnished and everything because they were, like, legit living there. So they did lose all of that. A lot of, like, money and stuff. One dude was said to survive. He was ill and he was a reporter and he was staying in one of the rooms and he was so ill that he hadn't left his room in a few days. And when the fire started, there's some that say that he got out of bed and down the stairs or someone came and helped him, but he did get out. There was some that, like, some people helped a few, people out because they knew the hotel, and if they hadn't, they wouldn't have been able to get through the smoke. There's a lot of that, but nothing that tells me that anyone actually died. There was one that I was about to fight that this is the only, like, if this was the only death, I was about to be very mad that this is how they told me. But in the one article, it says a collie pup, which was in the basement, was seen by some of the firemen to topple over during the fire, and it was thought he was overcome by the smoke and had died. But Monday morning, he was found crawling around in the basement and is now none worse for his experience. The dog survived.
So the dog's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank
Like,
God.
why would you write it like that?
Good, but what are we writing about? Because, again, this... When did this fire take place? The 20?
The 13. This one is about the 1913.
Okay, yeah. So it is 1913. I am an average person covered in coal, reading about rich people losing a couple things and a dog that they thought was dead, but, like, okay. Shut up! I am poor. I do not live in this hotel. I do not care about what is being written in this paper.
I'm gonna fight you on Battle Alley.
Lead paint is the hot new bitch. Like, there's nothing cool happening.
They do have one thing on here that talks about the amount of water that they used. It says the amount of water pumped during the fire can be gained from the fact that a pressure between 80 and 90 pounds was maintained for 6 hours. During that time, a total of 285,500 gallons of water was pumped, according to the new big meter at the waterworks station.
The new big meter, you say?
I don't know. That's what it says
Thank God
again.
our taxpayer dollars are going to these big meters.
It's
Again,
the
if
pump.
I'm
I don't
an
know.
average bitch and there's nothing but like tin in my water and I have to hear about all these rich people at the hotel getting saved by a lake's worth of water, I started the fire. I did it.
I feel like even the news reporters knew that, which is why they wrote about it like they did, where they're like, well, rich people lost some of the richness. Is it going to affect them in the long
break
run?
down each person and how much of the stuff they lost.
She
which
lost
is
2
weird.
ball gowns and a
I
pair
think
of
they did
shoes.
this. I think they did
A
this
dog
as
almost died.
this is like a ploy. So the rich people were like, "Yeah, tell them I lost my furs." That way it'll be like, "I don't have anything. You can't rob me. I lost it all."
It's weird that this article coincided with their checkout day onto Battle Alley.
Right. They should have let the reporter that was sick write about it. That would have been a harrowing tale.
Yeah, they probably should have. I don't know. The estimated loss is $20,000, which only $8,000 was covered by insurance, and that was like in 18.
I was gonna say, I wonder what that would
No,
be.
1913.
1913.
I was like, it wasn't that long ago.
So speaking of 1913, and this is a legit question that we probably don't have an answer to, but maybe our listeners do. They're talking about an elevator in the center of the hotel.
Mm-hmm.
Is this still like an old-timey lift that has an operator?
Oh, good question.
Because, like, did the fire start? The operator's like, going up so? Like,
I was gonna say I wouldn't have been
Dang.
surprised if the way that it was designed to be like a fancier situation that they probably did have like a busboy type person specifically for like going up.
right.
There was this one, and I tried really hard. There was this one website, and they're like, "Oh, we have a recording of disembodied voices here." But every time I click on it, it brings me to like a Facebook page, and then it has the video, and then I press play on the video, and it's like, "Oh, turn on the sound," and it says video has no sound. It is a black video, so that you only hear the sound, and there's no sound.
You're gonna get a virus.
That's on Facebook.
The
It's
true
fine.
ghost was the virus all along.
There was in 2013, it says GHS Paranormal led a investigation at the Holly Hotel and recorded an interesting EVP. Can you hear the voice? And I wanted to play it for you guys to see if you could hear the voice, and I can't play it because it didn't do it.
That's so.
Yeah, I think maybe the links are just old because they also had ones for like orbs that were sighted and shadow figures, but none of the links work properly. So that's the Holly Hotel.
Fascinating. I do definitely want to check it out, if nothing else, to, go into the restaurant, see if we can see portraits
Can't even
of...
do that now because it's
It's
for sale.
closed right
It's all
now.
closed.
Oh, fuck, that's right.
All right.
Yeah.
So listeners, you gotta help us buy the Holly.
Because I think it's still getting restorations since the last fire 2-3 years ago. I thought it was done, but it says restoration updates on their website.
Interesting.
Yeah, but they did post like this year, so
Yeah,
maybe
so
they
this
still
has to
do
be like
stuff.
a new development.
Very new.
They were still posting blog articles as of June.
Yeah,
Yeah, so there's definitely something in the works.
they do have a part on their hotel website that has their recipes.
If there are any listeners from Holly and you know stuff like from local papers and whatnot, let us know what the hell's going on. Well, thank you, Dan, for all of your research.
Yeah, and no real answers. Nora, where are you?
I mean, sometimes that's just how it goes.
I looked through so many newspapers because I was like, someone's got to say like, oh, this person died or this or that. And I was like, okay, there was never even a Nora mentioned in anything. So I don't know where they got her from. But also in 1913 to 19 whatever, I don't know how well they kept records of who worked where.
Right.
And also, there were a lot of fires, so they could have
Yeah.
also had office records that are just ashes.
Yeah, and it's,
I want to see. I want to see the ghost of the records that burned.
right. We were the records.
We are the granddaughters of the records you couldn't burn.
Exactly.
Anyways, that is our episode for today. I hope you guys all enjoyed a little bit of Holly history and kind of upset that we can't go visit it.
Yeah, listen, we'll keep an eye
We
on
can
it.
stand
We'll see
outside and stare in the
if
windows.
If if changes are in development right now, we will keep an eye on it for the future. And if we do get to a point where they reopen it, or they even just reopen it for the purpose of once again leaning in to do some sort of like spooky tours, we will be right there.
Yeah, I actually would really be interested in that.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll just stand outside the building and see if we can hear a piano or some lady singing.
Yeah, because like
Just sniff at the window.
if they do open up for spooky tours in the future, obviously, like I said, we will go, but also I'm gonna stand outside of it and be like, this place catches fire a lot. I don't know if I want to go in here.
has a reputation.
I'm bringing a water gun.
You walk in a full fireproof suit.
Literally.
I'll bring a fire
You're not getting me.
They're like,
You're not gonna get me, spirits.
ma'am, what is in your purse? It is a fire extinguisher, okay?
Yeah.
It's safety first.
Oh, well, you see, in this hand, I have a fire extinguisher, and in this one, I have a water gun. Don't sass me.
And I
You
don't know
almost
which
went
one I'm
full
going to...
Bobby Boucher.
I know,
there.
that's what
Okay, that's what I thought. I was like, all right, Adam
this
Sandler.
is how, dude,
H2O.
Oh, you know, he would have been there. He could have saved the day.
dude, no, this could be a great money-making scheme. If they reopen, we stand outside, we sell water balloons. By the bag.
They're called safety balloons.
Yeah. See? You're thinking like a business person.
You know what you just did? You took the monster kit from the other episode and you were just like, yeah, capitalism, I'm here.
Surely this bat will beat the flames.
Use this butterfly net to catch the cleavers that fly across the...
We could have done it.
Yep.
We could have done it.
Still can.
We could buy the building. We cannot. We can't buy the building, guys.
Write in if you want some Dead Pine Archives brand monster kits.
Oh my God.
That would...
And we'll try to make that happen.
Listen. Okay, here it is. We make
Or
we
water
make it.
balloons. I can make that happen in about 4 seconds right
That
now.
one's really hard to ship, but yeah, maybe. We get a pack. We do all that whatevers, and then we put a little cool pin in there. Just like
See,
a cool
that's a
pin.
great idea. I love that idea. Instead of me just shipping a box of loose water to people.
No. Hold up.
They're in a balloon.
Throw it back to the old like fan clubs of the 90s. We eventually like do like a Dead Pines fan club where we have a merch box.
You know what Neil's referring to is like, you know, the classic 90s when you would go back. Your older sibling would take a tire iron and just take you out before the giant.
Comes with a sleeping bag to get beat to death.
Again, Neil doesn't have an older
Classic
sibling.
growing up in the 90s.
Kelly, your sister loves you so much.
Anymore.
Thank you again for watching this episode. If you haven't given us a 5-star review, it would be really cool if you did, because that's the best way you can support us. You can also, subscribe wherever you're listening to this. We would love to hear any comments, concerns, or critiques. Thank you for listening to this episode with us. If you enjoyed it, please leave us a 5-star review. That's the best way to support us. And if you haven't yet, please subscribe to wherever you're listening. Leave a comment. Give me, comments, concerns. You can do a critique. I might fight you on the critique. Who knows? We're open to whatever. Follow us on Instagram, Dead Pine Archives. That's what we are on every social media thing that we have. So you'll find us. You can also find all of the episodes of Dead Pine Archives wherever you're listening to this episode. Isn't that crazy? So you really have no excuse to not watch more or comment or subscribe. So I'll find you if you don't. Thanks. I hope you have a great day.